Hi friends, so this is Amit Srivastava and today I'm going to talk about design patterns. This is my second tutorial in this series, and in my first tutorial on design patterns I talked about what are design patterns, and I told that these are the proven solutions to solve a specific software problem statement. These are language independent and they help to make our application more flexible, reusable and maintainable. Basically there are two categories of design patterns, uh, which are JSE design patterns, JEE design patterns with respect to Java. And under JSE design patterns, we have creational design pattern, structural design pattern and behavioral design pattern. Under creational design pattern, we have singleton, factory, abstract factory, builder and prototype. And today I'm going to talk about factory pattern of creational design pattern. So basically, what is creational design pattern? As I told, creational design pattern helps us to figure the best possible way to instantiate an object of a class based on the situation and problem statement. So let's see. So my scenario, now first of all, what is the factory pattern? What it tells us? So it tells us to define an interface or class which will decide and instantiate the objects of other classes of our application based on some logic, and it provides the loose coupling between the external application code and the classes defined in our application. So the external code need not know anything about like the names and implementation of your application classes and how the objects of our application classes have been created. External application need not know about it. So now let's consider a scenario, a real-time scenario where I'll be able to help you understand the concept better. So I'm going to take a very common scenario. We all book the cabs. We have different travel agencies which provide us the cab service, and we through their app through their UI app we book the cabs. So suppose one of the travel agency comes to me and it says to design a transport application which can be used by that transport agency, and through which uh, the customers of that agency should be able to book the cab. So that's what I've written here. Design and transport application which can be distributed to various transport agencies, and these agencies can use my application for allowing their customers to book the transport. So one of the transport agency ABC comes to me and it says that it supports three modes of public transport, which is through sedan car, through mini car and through auto. So I need to design an application. So now if you see this slide, here in the green layer I have depicted an external application. This external application is nothing but that UI app which I talked about, which is specific to our transport agency, which will be used by its customer to book the cab. And this blue layer are the parts of are the components of my application which I am going to develop for that travel agency or that transport agency. So now if you see, the transport agency told me that it can support three modes of public transport: sedan, mini car and auto. So for this I have classes, one class for sedan car, mini car and auto in the bottom layer. On top of that there will be an public transport interface, which is going to have few methods declared, which will be common methods declared, which will be overridden by these three classes. But I'm not going to expose my public transport interface or my classes to the external application. Rather, I'm going to add one more layer as per factory pattern, and this layer will be public transport factory creator, and the external application is going to interact only with this public transport factory creator class. It's going to ask for a specific object. That object can be of sedan car, mini car, or auto, but it's going to ask a specific object to my factory creator, and my factory creator is going to return that object to external application. But how that object is created, and what are all the implementations that I have provided in my classes, sedan, mini car, auto. So all these things will be hidden from the external application. What external application is going to get is only the object. That's all. How that object is got created will be hidden from external application. So this is the basic theme of the factory pattern. So now let's go through some Java code which I have written for you all. I'll try to explain the things. So as I talked about, I have an external UI app class. This is specific to transport agency. I have a factory creator which I talked about, which is going to interact with this external UI app. I have a interface, public transport interface, which is going to have some common methods declared, and I'm going to have the specific classes for the transport modes: sedan public transport class, mini car public transport, and auto public transport. And it's going to implement the methods of the interface. Check availability is one of the method, and next is generate build. So in check availability, just to make the things simpler, what I've done is I'm going to check the time, what is hour and what is the current hour, and it's going to, based on the hour, it's going to return whether it is available or not. And generate bill method, based on the distance which is provided, it's going to return the bill amount, fare amount. So now see, in my factory creator class, which will be exposed to the external UI application, it is having a method get public transport object. This method will be known to the external application. So the external application is going to call this method and pass the choice of the user. And if the user chooses sedan, an object of sedan public transport will be created, and it will be returned back to the external UI application. Similarly for mini car and auto. So I'm just taking from the external application what is the choice of the user. Now based on the choice, I have my own implementation of creating those the real objects which I'll be returning back to the external application. I am going to hide all these details from the external application. External application will not know how I created those objects. What it will get in return is the real object, and what it will provide to me is the choice of the user. So basically, now let's go to the external application. What it's going to do is it's going to create an object of factory creator, and then it's going to ask its customer what mode of transport they are interested in, and based on the user response, it will take the choice, and it will call the method get public transport object of my factory creator class, and it's going to pass the choice of the user. And by doing this, it is going to get the real object based on the choice, and then it is going to call few methods like check availability or generate build, which I will let the external application know the method names so that they can call those methods, and based on that the external application will work. So let's see how it's going to behave. So I'm going to run this now. Here I go. I run this, and if you see the UI, like what user is going to say is choose the public transport. So suppose user chose mini car, so it's going to return the public transport mini car is unavailable, because here I've provided the hour is should be less than 19, and right now according to the local time it is greater than 19. So it told the public transport mini car is unavailable. Next, so user is going to try again, and this time suppose user chose sedan. So it says the public transport sedan is available, and then it is going to tell the fare amount. So now the important thing to note here is, as I already told, if you see this external UI app or this external app here, it only knows about the factory creator class and none of my real means other classes which I have developed. It got the object of that class via this. It provided the choice of the user and it got the object back, but how those objects were created, external UI app is unaware of, and it's going to call few of the methods which I'm going to tell to the external app and which are also there in my interface, and it's going to work according to this. So friends, if I hope you would have got the theme of factory pattern. If not, please see this video again. So this was about factory pattern. In my next tutorial, I'm going to talk about abstract factory pattern and how it helps, but for now I'll stop here. So if you like this video tutorial of mine, please like it, like my video on YouTube, subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and you can also visit my website www.amitpreet.com for more of such tutorials. Thank you very much, friends.